Chosen one, I know exactly how heavy the burden has felt lately. You have been walking through a season that has tested every ounce of your spirit, quietly carrying the weight of financial anxiety while trying to keep a brave face for the people who depend on you. In a world that constantly pushes you to hustle harder, where the cost of simply living seems to rise with every sunrise, it is so easy to feel like you are doing everything right and still falling behind. You have poured your energy into your work, your family, and your faith. Yet you lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering when the breakthrough is finally going to come. I need you to hear me right now, because the divine is speaking directly to that silent exhaustion. You are not forgotten, and your struggles have not gone unnoticed. But we need to have a deeply honest conversation about what it actually means to be the chosen one in this season of your life. For too long, you have been sold a comforting but dangerous illusion. You have been told that being chosen means you just need to sit still, wait, and suddenly, a miraculous windfall will drop from the sky to solve all your problems. That is not how divine abundance works. And deep down in your soul, you already know this. Being chosen does not mean you are exempt from the work it takes to build a life of freedom. It means you have been uniquely equipped for it. The Creator has not destined you to be a passive recipient of luck. Instead, you have been given something far more powerful. You have been infused with the resilience to survive every storm, the intelligence to navigate complex challenges, and the undeniable grit to build a legacy of lasting abundance that no circumstance can ever take away from you. This is the principle of sacred partnership. True miracles do not happen in a vacuum. They happen at the exact intersection where divine timing meets human preparation. Faith without action is just a wish whispered into the wind. The universe is absolutely orchestrating a shift in your financial destiny right now, lining up opportunities, unlocking doors that were previously bolted shut, and placing the right people in your path. But you have to be the one to walk through those doors. You have to be the one to stretch out your hand, step into the arena, and build the foundation that can actually hold the wealth you are asking for. God is providing the wind, but you are the one who must raise the sails. This is your awakening. It is time to step out of the waiting room of your life and step into your power, recognizing that the miracle you have been praying for is not just coming to you. It is waiting to be activated by your courage and your action. We need to talk about the silent trauma that comes with financial struggle, the kind that people rarely speak about but carry heavily in their bones. I know the knot that forms in your stomach when an unknown number calls, the hesitation before logging into your bank account, and the quiet heartbreak of having to tell the people you love that you simply cannot afford it right now. Living paycheck to paycheck is not just a mathematical issue. It is a deep, exhausting, emotional wound that forces your nervous system into a constant state of fight or flight. You have carried the heavy shame of debt and the paralyzing fear of scarcity for so long that survival mode has started to feel like your normal personality. I need you to pause, take a deep breath, and hear this truth. The financial anxiety you are feeling is incredibly valid, but it is not your fault, and it is absolutely not your permanent destination. Your spirit was not created to be crushed under the weight of endless worry. To begin healing this trauma, we must uproot a dangerous lie that you may have been subtly taught from a very young age. Many of us were conditioned to believe that there is a quiet nobility in poverty, that struggling financially somehow makes you more humble, pure, or close to God. You might have absorbed the message that desiring wealth is inherently greedy or selfish, and leading you to subconsciously sabotage your own success just to feel spiritually safe. It is time to shatter that limiting belief forever. Poverty is not a prerequisite for purity, and lack is not a fruit of the Spirit. Money is simply a neutral tool, a magnifying glass that amplifies the true nature of the person holding it. In the hands of a selfish person, wealth can cause harm, but in the hands of someone like you, someone with a compassionate heart, a generous spirit, and a calling to help others, wealth becomes a divine instrument for monumental good. You are fully allowed to be deeply spiritual and incredibly prosperous at the exact same time. The Creator wants you resourced, protected, and empowered, not exhausted and depleted. You will see countless messages out there promising that you can just listen to a magical sound frequency or a secret brainwave to effortlessly attract millions into your life. But the true neuroscience of abundance is so much more profound and entirely within your control. When you live in chronic financial terror, the survival center of your brain takes the wheel, literally shutting down the higher-level problem-solving and creative sectors you need to actually change your circumstances. You cannot see the doors of opportunity when your mind is entirely consumed by the feeling of the walls closing in. The true frequency of wealth is activated through emotional regulation and grounded gratitude. When you choose to release the shame of your past financial mistakes, when you stop beating yourself up, and when you intentionally practice gratitude for the breath in your lungs and the strength in your hands, you calm your nervous system. This intentional shift physically rewires your brain, turning off the alarm bells and reawakening your God-given ability to spot real-world opportunities, make strategic choices, and take inspired action. That is the real secret to becoming a magnet for abundance. There is a profound and heavy silence that falls over us when we are avoiding the truth of our financial reality. I know the overwhelming temptation to leave the mail unopened, to swipe away the notifications from your bank, and to simply hope that if you do not look at the numbers, they might magically resolve themselves. When you are carrying the weight of financial anxiety, looking at your accounts does not feel like a simple administrative task. It feels like walking into a courtroom to face judgment. But I am here to tell you that the divine does not judge you, and it is time for you to stop judging yourself. Avoiding your reality is a natural trauma response, a way to protect your heart from the crushing weight of overwhelm. But true liberation begins the exact moment you decide to remove the blindfold. Stepping into your power as the chosen one means having the absolute courage to look your current circumstances directly in the eye. Opening those statements and adding up those numbers is not a punishment. It is a brave, sacred, and entirely necessary step toward your ultimate financial freedom. You cannot possibly navigate toward a life of overflowing abundance if you refuse to acknowledge your starting coordinates. Think of this process not as a reckoning, but as a divine audit. It is time to sit down in a quiet space, take a deep breath, and take a completely honest inventory of exactly where you stand today. Write down every dollar that is coming in, every expense that is going out, and the debts that have been silently draining your spiritual energy. When you finally put it all on paper, a remarkable shift happens in your spirit. The terrifying monster in the closet becomes nothing more than a math problem on a piece of paper. The numbers instantly lose their emotional power over you because they are no longer shadowy fears haunting your late-night thoughts. They are just data. They do not define your worth. They do not dictate your future. And they certainly do not reflect the magnitude of your divine calling. This inventory is simply the raw material from which your new, abundant life will be built. As you look at that reality, you must wrap yourself in absolute, unconditional grace. Do not let the heavy burden of shame convince you that your past financial decisions make you unworthy of future wealth. Perhaps you took on crippling credit card debt just to keep your family afloat. Or maybe you made choices out of pure survival, desperation, or simply a lack of financial guidance. Those were not moral failures. They were survival tactics and hard-learned lessons that have now made you wiser, stronger, and far more discerning. You must actively choose grace over guilt right now. Forgive yourself for the times you did not know better. And forgive yourself for the times you knew better, but were simply too exhausted to fight. Today, the slate is wiped entirely clean in the realm of the spirit. Your past financial history is not a life sentence. It is merely the opening chapter of the greatest comeback story ever written. And this divine audit is the exact moment you finally take the pen back into your own hands. When you hear the word budget, your chest probably tightens with a familiar sense of dread and restriction. For so many of us, budgeting has been weaponized as a tool of guilt, feeling more like a financial diet or a harsh punishment for our past mistakes rather than a pathway to freedom. But if you are truly ready to step into the abundance that the Creator has prepared for you, we must completely rebrand what this practice means in your life. A budget is not a cage designed to trap you in scarcity. It is your divine blueprint. It is the ultimate act of taking dominion over your resources, stepping out of the role of a passive observer and into the empowered position of a master steward. Instead of reaching the end of the month wondering in a panic where all your money went, you are now actively giving every single dollar a divine assignment. By intentionally directing your resources, you are sending a clear, undeniable signal to the universe that you are finally ready, mature, and capable of handling the massive wave of prosperity that is coming your way. To build this blueprint, you do not need a complicated spreadsheet or a degree in finance. You simply need a grace-filled, practical framework like the 50-30-20 rule. Imagine dividing your incoming harvest into 3 intentional streams. 50% of your provision goes toward your absolute necessities, protecting the 4 walls of your life like your shelter, groceries, and essential utilities. 30% is lovingly designated for your wants, because the divine does not expect you to live a life stripped of all joy, rest, and pleasure while you are building your legacy. The final 20% is your power center, your spiritual seed money dedicated entirely to breaking the heavy chains of past debt and aggressively building your future wealth. This strategy is not about demanding rigid, joyless perfection from yourself. It is a breathing, flexible structure that allows you to honor your present reality while fiercely protecting your future freedom, or ensuring that your money is finally working for you instead of you constantly working for your money. Within this sacred strategy, your absolute first mission is to build what I call your fortress of peace, which begins with saving a starter emergency fund of $1,000. When you walk through life without a financial safety net, every unexpected flat tire, sudden medical bill, or broken appliance feels like a direct spiritual attack that sends your nervous system spiraling right back into desperate survival mode. Setting aside this initial $1,000 is not just practical financial advice. It is one of the most profound spiritual boundaries you will ever draw. It creates a protective moat around your peace of mind, ensuring that when the inevitable storms of life roll in, they are reduced to minor inconveniences rather than life-shattering crises. This fortress protects your mental and spiritual energy, keeping you out of a constant state of panic so you can remain grounded, focused, and perfectly aligned with your highest calling as you continue to build the divine wealth you were destined for. There is an ancient and powerful story known as the parable of the talents, and it holds the exact blueprint for the financial breakthrough you have been waiting for. In this story, a master entrusts his servants with a portion of his wealth, not to hide it in the ground out of fear, but to invest it, grow it, and multiply it. For too long, you have been burying your divine gifts under the heavy dirt of self-doubt, exhaustion, and the false belief that you do not have anything of value to offer the world. How but being the chosen one means the Creator has already deposited unique, irreplaceable talents directly into your spirit. The abundance you are praying for is not going to arrive as a random lottery ticket. It is going to flow through the very gifts you are currently taking for granted. Your divine assignment right now is to dig up those buried talents, brush off the dirt of insecurity, and intentionally multiply them in the real world. God provides the seed, but you are the one who must plant it, water it, and harvest the crop. To step into this new season of wealth, you must first recognize the immense value of what you already carry inside of you. We often overlook our greatest gifts because they come so naturally to us that we mistakenly assume everyone else can do them too. But I want you to look closely at your life and ask yourself what people constantly seek your help with. What is that one thing you do with effortless grace that leaves others completely amazed? Perhaps you have an incredible ability to organize chaos, a natural talent for comforting and advising people in crisis, a gift for crafting words, or a brilliant mind for fixing things that are broken. Your passions and your natural inclinations are not random accidents. They are divine breadcrumbs leading you directly toward your prosperity. When you figure out how your unique joy intersects with a problem you can solve for someone else, you have discovered your ultimate wealth-building engine. Your purpose is already inside you, waiting for you to honor it by bringing it into the light. Once you identify your divine gifts, the next step is to translate them into undeniable real-world value, which is the only true money magnet that exists. You do not need a secret frequency to attract wealth. You need to take bold, grounded action in the modern economy. Multiplying your talents today might look like taking a free online certification to upskill in your current industry, gathering the courage to walk into your boss's office and confidently negotiate the raise you know you deserve, or finally turning that weekend hobby into a profitable side hustle. It might mean completely pivoting your career path because you refuse to let your potential wither away in a room where you are unappreciated. The universe honors movement, and heaven backs the one who steps out in faith. When you boldly develop your skills and offer your solutions to the world, the financial compensation you receive is simply a natural, earthly reflection of the divine value you are providing. You have everything you need to start creating wealth right now. You just have to give yourself the permission to use it. There is an undeniable spiritual truth that you cannot heal in the same environment that broke you, and you certainly cannot build wealth while constantly surrounded by the heavy, suffocating language of lack. As you step into this divine assignment of financial liberation, you must take a hard, honest look at the voices you are allowing into your daily life. Financial mindsets are deeply contagious. If you are constantly sitting at tables where people only complain about how hard life is, how rigged the system is, and how they will never get ahead, your spirit will inevitably absorb that poverty consciousness. You are the chosen one, which means your energy is a precious, sacred resource that must be fiercely protected. You cannot carry the massive vision the Creator has placed in your heart while simultaneously carrying the toxic doubts, limiting beliefs, and fears of everyone around you. It is time to recognize that your proximity to greatness, or your proximity to scarcity, will ultimately determine the altitude of your success. To truly transform your reality, You must intentionally begin building a sacred circle of expansion. This does not necessarily mean you need to immediately find a billionaire mentor to hold your hand. It means you must actively seek out the frequencies of growth, financial literacy, and empowerment that are readily available to you right now. Your new mentors might be the authors of life-changing financial books you check out for free from your local library, the hosts of empowerment podcasts you listen to on your morning commute, or the members of a positive online community dedicated to breaking debt and building wealth. When you immerse yourself in the stories and strategies of people who have walked out of the exact same financial darkness you are currently navigating, you give your brain the undeniable proof that your own breakthrough is entirely possible. By placing yourself in these new rooms, even virtually, you begin to speak the language of abundance fluently, allowing the wisdom of others to accelerate your journey and elevate your entire perspective on what you are truly capable of achieving. But we must also speak about the hardest, most deeply emotional part of building this sacred circle, which is the absolute necessity of setting firm boundaries with the people you love. When you are the one chosen to break a generational curse of poverty, your journey will inevitably disrupt the comfort zones of the people closest to you. You will have to look family members or old friends in the eye and kindly but firmly say no when they ask to drain the resources you are using to build your financial fortress. You will have to distance yourself from the guilt trips and the unspoken expectations that you must stay struggling just to prove you are still loyal to them. Setting these boundaries will feel incredibly lonely at first, and the enemy of your peace will try to convince you that protecting your money and your energy is somehow selfish. It is not selfish. It is an act of profound divine preservation. You cannot pull anyone else out of the quicksand if you are still sinking in it yourself. By drawing these lines, you are not abandoning your loved ones. You are finally building the solid ground necessary to leave a legacy that will bless them for generations to come. We need to talk about the true purpose of this impending abundance. Because the divine is not just trying to make you comfortable. The Creator is trying to make you consequential. When you hear the call that you are the chosen one, it is so easy to assume that this breakthrough is solely about relieving your immediate stress. But the vision heaven has for your life is so much larger than just paying your current utility bills on time or taking a long overdue vacation. While you are being blessed in this specific season so that you can become a breathing, walking blessing to the world around you. True wealth, the kind that is divinely orchestrated and practically built, is never meant to be hoarded in fear or spent entirely on fleeting earthly validation. It is a powerful tool of influence. The financial abundance you are stepping into is the exact key to unlocking doors for people who cannot yet open them for themselves. God is entrusting you with this provision because your heart is pure enough to handle it, knowing that when resources flow into your hands, they will inevitably flow right back out to uplift, heal, and protect the vulnerable. This journey is about something far more profound than luxury. It is about the sacred duty of breaking generational curses that have haunted your family line for decades. For generations, your bloodline may have been chained to the agonizing cycle of scarcity, survival mode, and the heartbreaking reality of working to the bone, with absolutely nothing left to pass down. You were chosen to be the cycle breaker. The wealth you are building right now is not about acquiring expensive status symbols to impress strangers. It is about buying back your most precious commodity, which is time. It is about the profound security of knowing your children will never have to choose between a medical prescription and a week of groceries. It is the ability to write a check to a cause that sets your soul on fire without checking your bank balance first. Generational wealth means leaving an inheritance of peace, financial literacy, and unbreakable stability so that the ones who come after you can start their lives on solid ground, dreaming entirely new dreams instead of just fighting to survive. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and genuinely visualize the ripple effect of your faithfulness 5 years from this exact moment. Picture what your life will look like when you have applied these divine principles and done the grounded, practical work to build your financial fortress. Imagine the overwhelming joy of sitting across from your aging parents and telling them you are paying off their mortgage so they can finally rest. Picture yourself funding a community project, sponsoring a scholarship, or simply laying your head on your pillow at night and sleeping deeply, completely free from the suffocating grip of financial dread. This is not a fairy tale. This is the exact divine blueprint unfolding in your life right now. Every budget you create, every skill you multiply, and every boundary you set is a brick in the foundation of this incredible legacy. You are not just changing your own bank account. You are literally rewriting the future of your entire bloodline, stepping fully into the monumental divine impact you were always destined to make. This brings us to the most sacred and defining moment of our time together, the covenant of action. We have walked through the deep emotional healing of your financial trauma. We have looked your reality in the eye without a single ounce of shame, and we have laid out the divine blueprint to multiply your unique gifts in the real world. But all of this profound spiritual revelation means absolutely nothing if it does not cross the bridge into physical reality. Faith is not a passive state of wishing. Faith is an active, living covenant between you and the Creator. God is breathing a powerful wind of favor, opportunity, and financial turnaround over your life right now. But you are the one who must physically stand up and raise the sails. The days of sitting back and waiting for a magical rescue are over, because you have finally realized that you are the rescue. The divine has already placed every tool, every ounce of resilience, and every spark of genius inside of you to create the abundance you have been begging for. Action is your new highest form of prayer. Therefore, I am not going to ask you to just type a random sequence of numbers in the comments to claim a vague blessing. If you are truly ready to step into this new reality, I am calling you to make a grounded, physical declaration of your faith right now. I want you to go to the comments and declare exactly one practical, real-world step you are going to take in the next 24 hours to honor your financial destiny. Tell the universe that you are going to log into your bank account and cancel that unused subscription that has been quietly draining your resources. Declare that you are finally going to check your credit score without a single drop of fear or shame. Or that you are going to spend 20 minutes tonight researching a free online course to multiply your skills. Write down that you are setting up an automatic transfer of just $10 into your newly created fortress of peace. When you type that practical commitment, you are not just leaving a comment on a video. You are signing a spiritual contract with your own potential, proving that you are finally ready to handle the wealth that is on its way. As you step forward to take that action, I want to leave you with this final, powerful blessing. You are fully capable, fiercely protected, and completely equipped to change the entire trajectory of your life, starting this very minute. The heavy season of weeping over empty bank accounts and carrying the crushing weight of survival mode is officially coming to an end. You are stepping into an era of profound mastery, undeniable peace, and radical abundance. Or do not let the shadows of your past convince you that you are not worthy of a magnificent future. You are the cycle breaker, the visionary, and the architect of a legacy that will outlive you. Trust in the divine timing, trust in the brilliant mind you have been given, and trust that the Creator is walking beside you every single step of the way. Your financial freedom is no longer just a distant dream. It is your new reality, and your beautiful, abundant life starts right now.